Everybody, Andy here again. Well, you've probably seen the title of this particular video. I thought, here we go, man's favourite topic. It's not what you got, it's what you do with it. Size isn't important, and we can think of many different examples of that, particular thought. But I was reminded of this the other day. A new version of this, or a new avenue that we can go down with this particular topic, I suppose. On Sunday last week, the band that I manage, Arivmia, were doing a gig up at the Dublin Castle in in London. Pretty prestigious gig, and headlining the gig as well. And we got up there, and how it all works is you have to get up there pretty early, and then they do sound checks. The sound, it must be said, was absolutely brilliant. The sound man Ben really took a lot of trouble. The sound was very, very good for all of the different bands, and the fact that you get a sound check and you get the opportunity to try everything out is good. They obviously care about the music that they're putting on, hence the fact it's a very popular and very influential venue. Maybe I can talk about that type of thing another time. But we got there, and what happens with a lot of these things is you have, there was 4 bands playing, as I said, that Arivmia were headlining, and they send you emails, etc. beforehand, so that of all the different bands' contact details, so you can actually share gear, etc. if you want. You can use the in-house drum kit, which is what we did and what everybody else did, because it's so much easier. But you can arrange to share each other's amps and things like that. Well, we didn't do that, and I don't think any of the other bands had actually arranged to do that. But Arivmia, the equipment that they use, the guitarist, although he has got apparently a Marshall stack at home, which doesn't work very well, which I wasn't aware of till yesterday, he's got this little Marshall combo, a bit like one of those old Vox AC30 type things. Not very big at all, quite small and diddy, but it produces a good sound with the effects pedal, etc. The bass player, Craig, has got something very similar, a little combo, a little bass thing, which you can pick up and carry along. There's nothing to it at all, and that's all they have on the stage apart from the drum kit, which isn't enormous anyway. It's just a fairly standard drum kit. I said we were using the house one. But the other bands, a couple of the other bands, one of the bands that had come down from York, and there was another sort of a heavy metal type of band as well, they got enormous amplifiers, big cabinets and big flashing lights everywhere, and all this stuff, and they put it onto the stage and you thought, what on earth is going on here? Yes, some of the bands were pretty good, but it makes you wonder. They put all this gear up there, people could hardly fit on the stage, and you're sitting there thinking, is this just one of those type of things? It's just trying to impress people. The amount of equipment that you've got doesn't mean anything at all. It's just the sound that comes out of it, and especially for something like that. John, the guitarist, had to say they seem to have bought something for an outdoor stadium gig or for a festival or something like that, because as long as it's all plugged into the PA, etc., direct input as they call it, which this was, it doesn't matter whether you've got a little tin pot amp or whether you've got the actual enormo dome sort of equipment. And they had all this gear, and it took them ages to get it all on there. As I said, there wasn't much room for everybody else, and they played. The band that played before Arivmia had borrowed all this gear from the other guys because it was easier. I understand that, not to have to keep swapping things around, because you only get like a 15-minute turnaround between bands. There's 4 bands, you've got to get them all, all on, and it all ran to time. All very good actually, very well ran, and that's thanks to the other bands as well, for that matter. But the band before, they had all this gear, and they weren't very good. Let's be perfectly honest about that. And then all that came off, and then Arivmia go on with 2 little amps and the drum kit, and played. I'm biased, but played a very good gig. In my opinion, the best band on the night, easily. I think the band from York weren't bad as well, but that's another story. So that just goes to show you, it doesn't matter what you've got. It's all the sound that you get out of it. And it's the songs as well. It's not just all that big power and noise and amplification, enormous drum kits and big speakers and amplifiers and flashing lights and all that type of thing. If you haven't got the substance, if you haven't got the songs to put across in the first place, or the performances, and most of the bands are very proficient musically, I must give them that. Musicianship was very good. And I did notice a step up when you go to somewhere like London and playing in places like that where bands have come. I say one band came from York, we come from Hastings, another band came from London, wasn't sure where the other band had come from. You see a raise in level of the actual quality of the bands, the quality of the songs, the musicianship and that sort of stuff. Yes, there's some great things live locally, as I keep going on about, but you go up there and you just see it's a little bit better, and everyone's sort of sussing each other out, but maybe that's another topic. And This is one of those sort of things now with this size thing. You get enormous books, don't you? And everybody seems to think you've got to have a 500-page book instead of books years ago that used to be like about 250 pages. Pack it all in there, get the story in there, get all the basics in there. Just short, sweet, to the point, get in there, tell the story and bugger off type of thing. And you get CDs now where you get, you know, now the sort of 70 odd minutes. That seems to be the type of thing because of the length of the CD. It's obviously albums years ago in vinyl days used to be 45 minutes maximum, and that was it. So why not have that now? Instead of padding them out, we can all think of examples. CDs you get and you think this is a good album, and then you start finding the filler in there because they thought, oh, we've got 74 minutes on this CD or 70 minutes, let's fill it out with all this stuff. No, I don't care if it's 45 minutes long, as long as the quality's there. I don't want a load of second-rate rubbishy filler. So size isn't important. As I just said at the beginning, it's what you got and how you use it that matters, not the size of the book, the equipment of any type you can possibly think of. So there you go. Anyway, I'm sure I'll be talking about band stuff as we go along, all the different things that have been happening, but an interesting time in my life anyway. So thanks for your time. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.